Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Again, I'm still here on the project, building capacity around my mouth, but I got something to back it up. What do you think? Let's discuss it.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in the country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Bila lo kan yo. Ka go so duro. Hey. Awaye. Ati o lo a. Ìyàwó abira lo kan yo. Níbi tó jọba yìí. Níbi tó yọba. Máa ti sùn mọ̀ pé yo. Manager Gigi. Wọ́n pe jamais forcé o. Si tu connais, tu connais. L'animateur Choco Nostra Yassin de Toyebi. L'homme a tout fait pour Mivito. Aniche les deux.
Corruption is a cancer, is a disease that deprives countries and people in countries of their rights, and also it drains countries of their economy. It misplaces the economy, and it creates problem for people in a country, deprive them of their rights. And I think if Africans fight corruption and they see that their economies are managed properly, there'll be a lot of peace because it will bless a lot more people.
Good evening, folks. Samson to Labron Padrino. Wonderful Thanksgiving Day. We want to thank all of you again for tuning in to Labron Padrino on this wonderful Thanksgiving Day. Please share this video to as many people as you can on this wonderful Thanksgiving Day. We thank God for this day. Thank God for this Thanksgiving Day. We're very grateful to God. It's wonderful to be here this evening. So thank you all that are watching. Please share this video to as many people as possible as we continue to talk again about Liberia and Liberians. Safety, Lord Jesus, we want to thank you again this evening. As we come together, my God, we ask that the family of the late Senator Prince Johnson be healed. We ask, my God, that you take complete control this evening. Come into their hearts and their lives, the suffering, the pain that is going through with them tonight. That we'll put that in your hand, my God, that you help the family. Bring some healing to the family. My God, we want to ask you to get into the lives of many Liberians, our brothers and sisters from the Nimba County side that are in pain tonight. We put them before you. We put their hearts and their suffering before you again tonight. My God, please help them, guide them, take complete control. We ask again, my Lord, that the Liberian people are in your hand. We ask that you bless the Republic of Liberia, bless the leadership of the Republic of Liberia. My God, we come again to ask you to bless the President of the Republic of Liberia. Guide him, give him long life. Whatever he touches, guide his hand in the interest of the Liberian people. My God, we ask that you bless the host country, the United States of America. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. So my eyes were clear, David. My eyes were closed tonight. Nobody say I can't close my eyes. Happy Thanksgiving, Clarence. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, again, welcome, folks. Welcome. Please share this video to as many brothers and sisters as you can. We are going to be discussing the death of Senator Johnson here tonight. We are going to be discussing the passing of Senator Johnson, which is a sad, sad day for all of us. We're saying again that we pray that those brothers and sisters uh, will see that God will take complete control and help them to heal them. And I'm not too sure why this is that, but that's okay. So we will be discussing that tonight. I'm going to go a little bit deeper than that. Prince Johnson is not an ordinary Liberian. Prince Johnson uh, has been involved. I have a lot of material said about Prince Johnson. I will say that before the war, I knew many of these people, the participant of the war. Many of them that was involved. I knew then, especially the brothers from the Nima side, because after I had my own issues with the Liberian government, when I came back here with the help of Nibadians, helped me to bring me back because I told you guys I was deported from here. And the Nibadians, specifically to Kwamba, who happened to be a friend of mine and also a big friend, brother to my brother, my little brother. And they all helped to bring me back. So when I came back here in the United States, I didn't go back to my uncle in Rhode Island. I came directly to Ohio to another Nimbadian, Marcus Down, Dr. Marcus Down, the late Dr. Marcus Down. So when I got involved, when I was in Canton, Ohio with Dr. Don, there was a lot of Nibadian connection. I was in Canton when they had the Nibadian organization here in the United States when they had their convention in Canton. I was there. Marcus Don and I went places for ULA, for UNINCO, for other organization issues. He was one of those organizers, wholly, truly involved into Liberian politics here in the United States as well. And so when the war started, of course, I was pretty much on my own. Marcus Don, his family came back, and when the war started, the like of Norkiller and all those people, I know them. So when the war started, Marcus Don was pretty much initially became a spokesperson for the Prince Johnson side here in the United States. So I have tons and tons of document about the war. I was able to get some document from Dr. Don about the initial stages of the war, about going to training, what they did in Libya, what they did in Burkina Faso. All those documents I have them in my possession, but it's not something that I want to talk about every day because those are documents that I consider to be treasure as far as I'm concerned. We got pictures upon pictures. I have pictures upon pictures in when they were in Libya, when they were in Burkina Faso, coming on all through, coming to Liberia, pictures upon pictures of rebel entering Liberia. I have those, and I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not committing crime. However, during the war, there was lots of issues that was involved for which my understanding, Dr. Don had to pull away from Prince Johnson because of many of the killings, unnecessary killing, according to the story that was going on at the time. And Prince Johnson, uh, uh, during the heat of the war, of course, later we find out he was in Nigeria. He came back, became senator. He wrote a book, which I had this also in my possession, and the book is called Guns That Liberate Should Not Lead. And I'm just paraphrasing, I think I forgot the title. But in that book, Prince Johnson explained to the Liberian people that Prince Johnson, does not see the need for him to be in any kind of leadership because he was involved in the war. And there was, according to him, there were Liberians who were affected by the war. So for him not to come and be in leadership without having to iron out all of the privileges, his words, it's in our book, privileges of the war, people who were affected, without him coming to them and say, this is what happened, thoroughly explaining to the Liberian for why he to participate in the war. So then for him to come and be in leadership position, my man, to tell you, from more. Why you coming to come investigate me here tonight? Tell your own. Don't come here. I'm having conversation, my man. Don't come disturb my show. You think the liberal man, you think somebody sitting behind you? I've been around. I've been around. But anyhow, that's besides the point. So he said there was no reason for him to take leadership. Of course, he changed later on. But what I'm going to do now, there's this website. It still exists. And people still writing to that. People still put article on it. But if you go to that website, and I'm not going to divulge that, I will let you guys to look for it. If you go to that website, there are articles that was written way back 1989, 1988, 1989, when the war was happening, people were writing. We didn't have social media like this. So the best place they could go, they call what they call list service, where you go and write your stuff and put it and send it through the email type thing. Everybody get to read it, you know. And so there were some brothers here. I knew another brother here who were part of the group of Nibadians. His name was also Prince Johnson, by the way. But during the war, when he went home, he died, of course. And I also knew about some other group from my side that went home to part. So this war was deadly. It was deadly. This war was bad. We knew that. We knew that every day. We know. I mean, if you and at the time when the war started, I was in Ohio. And I was invited on one of the net channel 10 in Kent, Akron. I was invited along with Gabriel Nimlin. Now, if you know who Gabriel Nimlin is, he used to be broadcaster ELBC before he used to be with ELWA. He became during Doe administration, he became Minister of Information. Gabriel Nimlin. He's in Ohio still. So he and I and another guy called Paul Schlante, who also still in Akron, Ohio, we were invited and we had an interview, about hour and a half interview on Channel 10 about the war in Liberia. And I truly expressed myself. But at that time, my position was a little bit different. But I'm not going to go into that. So tonight, the passing of Prince Johnson, Senator Prince Johnson, is a sad one for many of our brothers and sisters. Now, other people that I know from him, people like D.K. Wansley, because when he came to Canton, I was already in Canton, like I said, with Dr. Don. So when he came to visit, he was there for almost 2 months. And so he and I was interacting. And I get to understand the issue with the Lamco security that was, you see, Samson is so knowledgeable on these things, it's unbelievable. Now I can call these people new because they're dead. General Drew, Charles Drew used to be, I think, security chief in Lamco. So the Nimadians, he told me, he said, when the coup took over, General Drew then became much more than just a security chief. And the Nimadians, he said, many of the young people didn't really know what to make of it. And there was an issue. In fact, at one time, he didn't tell me that, but I know this because I know General Drew as well. And General Drew explained that when he came to Ohio, when he came to Rhode Island, he came to visit another friend. I'm not going to call his name because he's still alive. He came to visit a friend, and I was there that night, and I made my comment as well. But they attacked his house. And one of the guys his son was shot in the stomach. And one of the guys that was with him, he's also got shot. And General Drew now, he also paid back. So there was a lot of issue with the Crown and the Nevadians from Lamco and what have you, PPL or whatever they call them. But my involvement now, as I stated, during the coup, I was also involved, not literally, but I was connected with coup members and stuff. And so, but I'm not going to go through that. So when Prince Johnson became a senator, there were many Liberians who became very angry. You wrote a book and say you're not going to do X, Y, and Z in terms of leadership of Liberia. But his explanation was, I help my people to survive, and the people want me to lead. Who am I to say no? But remember, Doe brother, they call Chaido. When Chaido, before he died, when he was in Monroe, Prince Johnson was never to vote in Monroe during the transitional time. Prince Johnson couldn't come to Monroe. But Chaido was in Monroe, and Chaido was not going to take a mess. We know those things. So when Chaido died, it didn't take long when Prince Johnson moved back to Liberia. Okay, now I'm not saying if when Chaido was there, I'm not saying that Chaido was going to talk to anybody or do something, but we know this, that Prince Johnson was not coming to Liberia. Okay. No, I'm not going to talk about my brother. I beg you, I don't know what it's show about. I'm not going to talk about that. There'll come a time. We got history. We'll talk about it. But tonight, I'll just talk about Prince. So when Prince Johnson became senator, I believe it was 2005 or something like that, from that time. When he became senator, people were writing. So I will read some of those writing back from 2005, 2018. There were people that were writing against Senator Johnson. People who Senator Johnson hurt, literally killed brothers, killed fathers for no reason, according to them, for no reason. So for me, his death, I've always stated this when I sit here to argue, when the people talk about war crime and what have you, when Prince Johnson start making noise about, oh, why war crime, you're just talking, I keep saying to him, face the war crime. Because think about this. Yeah, why Prince, and I'll show you some picture here tonight. Why Prince Johnson was involved in some Indians killing, bad behavior. Prince Johnson did not get up one money and say, oh, you know what? I just finished eating kesali, my stomach full. Let me go stab something. Let me go to a war and go fight. It didn't happen like that. And I thought by Prince Johnson, if you were to go to the war crime court and decided to be truthful, that would have been a teachable lesson for all of us, including the government. Because a government that do not respect the rights of other citizens, you face that. There's no question. No, who are you to come when the people of a government decide to challenge the rules of that government? You're in trouble. Democracy is a bluffing thing. I keep telling you this. It's just a bluffing thing, that idea. You can't tell me what color democracy is, that idea. People have to trust in that idea. People have to accept that idea. People have to believe in that idea. And the fact that the people ask you to lead that group, to be the leader of the democracy of that country, it's a huge respect and responsibility. You must not use that to turn against the people. Because if you do, and they challenge that system, you got problem. We try it, Liberian challenge the democracy and ignore the policy of the rule and law. That's why when these things are creeping up, those of us that witness those things and are still alive keep saying you can't go that route. They are not helpful. 1979, Rice Riot. I saw the beginning and the end. I was in Monrovia that Saturday. I was at the PI headquarters that Saturday. One of the few initial people that were there from the beginning. That Saturday. And I saw the devastation of the Rice Riot that whole Saturday and Sunday. I saw that. I was in Monrovia. I was in Monrovia for the coup. I was in Monrovia. The only thing I did not see is the wall because I was already here. But I was not because I was not there. I wasn't getting information. I was getting information. But let's go back. So during the war, and I'll read some stuff here about Prince Johnson tonight. I'm reading these things not to say that Prince Johnson was guilty. No, for me, his passing is like some dawn, some not dawn, that kind of rice. The people are going to say they're going to carry out we have done ourselves some disservice as Liberians, to be honest with you. From Ellen Johnson all the way to Samson Toe, who ain't nobody, we have done ourselves some serious disservice. This thing will happen again. It might not be my lifetime, but this because people don't really understand why people went to war. And because you don't have a clear understanding of why people went to war, you're bound to repeat those kinds of mistakes. Disrespecting people right, abusing people right, killing people when you're not supposed to, or killing people illegally. These things are happening and they will continue until the people stand up and say enough is enough. And since Liberians refuse to put in place mechanisms that will have allowed ourselves going to war crime court is not, for me, from my perspective, it is not just finding who's guilty and who's not guilty. It's finding out why. Why? Those of us that grew up in Monrovia, I grew up in the street of Monrovia. I used to be a store boy on Benson and Galley Street. And I used to run the night line of Galley Street. So I'm not a saint at all. I was a big time grown up, but the only thing I didn't do in Monrovia was to steal or to kill. I didn't steal, I didn't kill, but everything else, where you gonna say? Samson Toe. I got some picture, but I'm not gonna put those things up. We go to the club. They used to have a club on a Carton Cafe Hotel. Big, beautiful place. I used to go to Roxas Cinema when I was growing up in Monrovia, in the street of Monrovia. You come, let me tell you a little bit, because I'm going to go into the story. I don't want you to see me getting into the story as though I am just somebody in America just talking blah, blah, blah. No, that's not it. In Monrovia those days, 25 cents for downstairs. And sometimes you pay 15 cents in Roxas Cinema. You pay Roxas Cinema going Central Street, downstairs. You pay 15 cents. 25 cents most of it. 75 cents upstairs. But where I get 75 cents from to go upstairs? In order for you to go upstairs, you got to wear sneakers. You can't wear slapper and go upstairs. No. The people be there. You can't go to the place. You got to be. And that's why football business got into my head. Because I saw Waka Heron then. I saw Johnny Gray then. I saw Sabamaya there, when they wear their sneakers and they go upstairs and they play pool in Roxas Cinema, they play that pool and stuff, then they go see, I said, hey, it's football, that's what I want to do. It's a book business and anything. So when I used to come from education, something I call class in the afternoon. And the way we did it, because at what movie you see in Roxas Cinema, so you go up, the first thing you do, if you're smart, they'll kick you out. Children now mind again, they don't play it, So you go in front of the Roxas Cinema, they have the bowl where they have all of the picture placard over there. Then you go, you see, you not see that movie. Then you go, you take out your shirt and you go like that, fanning yourself with your shirt. Because downstairs they ain't got no air conditioner. So you hot like nothing else when you're downstairs. But when you go in, you were not downstairs. They got halftime. After the first show, they do 2 shows. After the first show, everybody comes out to take the air and things. Then you go in. You fanning yourself. You buy yourself fast and orange. You sucking on the orange and you fanning yourself. So I say, well, are you going to get? Wow, coming outside, you say you know me. Why? What? Do you fanning yourself? You say you know me? Yeah, I ain't got nothing get. My man, what picking where? What you doing there? Oh, what kind of business is it? You want to disgrace me? You got no. Hey, I said That life in Monrovia, that's small thing. You even get share, you take out your share, then you say you want a medal, you say the man disgracing you. What you doing so? You try to disgrace me among people? You can share, you're offending yourself. Then you say you're disgracing yourself. That 15 cent, 25 cent, I get, I'm making all that one. And then look at me and say, okay, go in. But I know you are not. How you know? I'll go, yeah, watch it. That they grow now business in Monrovia. Okay. Another thing I want to point out those days about Monrovia. In Monrovia those days, the police, when they're walking down the street and they check your eye, they see your eyeball red, they take you in for Carlo. Those days they call them Carlo. And if you are caught with Carlo, 7 years in prison. So why would I want to come from Town and come to Monrovia instead of me to find something good to do? But I'm gonna come to Monrovia to go to prison for stay away from Carlo business. I stay away from stealing. I stay away from Carlo business. Forget those things. Okay. So those were the life in Monrovia. They used to sell books on Benson Street. There used to be a guide over there on Benson Street. Basketball. I think for a DK or DJ something. DJ, basketball. Big guy. Those days you call them Omo because when you go to Gabriel Cinema, because Gabriel can show those, they call it shot, something shot. They like commercial, but those days they have a name of it. Shot. Oh, they becoming so short. Outside they saw a shot. I don't know why they call it shot, but they call it shot. Anyway, so the Nigerian guy, big guy, they put the women there over here and hold the tassel. The tassel called Omo. Okay. So they we call them Omo, the big guy. So the DJ and the other boys, somebody's telling boy, he said, boy, some big guy can't, he eat a picking boy, he won't pay. Those children will leave the street from that side and cross the street and can't, you will pay that 15 cents before. Other than that, they will beat you. They don't even know the boy is seller. But that's Liberia. That's Liberia. One time, somebody was shooting down Waterside. We left way from Camp Johnson Road, running to see who's shooting Waterside. Shooting. I don't say play. I said somebody was shooting down Waterside. We heard it. We left Camp Johnson Road to go see who's shooting Waterside. We're not running the other way. We're going to because we believe that we will not get shot. For what reason? I'm not involved. You sleeping at night. Your window, no window bar. In fact, I have come somebody stole my tape recorder one time. You're sleeping. Why you put a window bar? Like you impressing for what reason? You don't need those things. That's Liberia. Those days. Not anymore. Not anymore. So let me get back to Princess. I'm just giving you the background of Monrovia those days. When the rice riot started, let me explain a little bit about the rice riot also, then I can jump into that one. When the rice riot, that Saturday, I was considered a big boy now. I was working for the Ministry of Education, making $75 an hour, $75 an hour in Monrovia, $75 a month. And then they raised it up to $100 a month. Honor Madam Salif, she was their Minister for Finance. Dr. Butcher Baker Example, who's having to be my mom, she was their Minister, Deputy Minister of Research and Minister of Education. So that Saturday, I was the kid there, so I had to go and clean. I call it cleaning. For me, I don't do nothing. I'm my mom only offer I can't clean up. Man, big girl from place to sit down, man. But I just go there. And one of the things she taught me to do was how to type. She had a special, small little typewriter. And I used to use that to type. I can type. In those days, I used to do 45 words per minute, more than that. Not anymore. But anyway, so that particular Saturday, I went over because we heard about it. We used to be the first serial people at Samuel Jackson then. So we heard about it. I went there, part of it. And we were there. The power office. Part behind that, they have this little wall, and the wall cannot be anything more than 2.5, 3 feet high. So while we were there, Deacon Carter took the bullhorn. I remember this like yesterday. Deacon Carter took the bullhorn, And what they were trying to tell people, we're going to suspend the protest because apparently they were not, because at that time there was a rumor that Moja and Pa were not on the same page. Because Moja didn't want protest, because Moja believed, Dr. Tipote believed, that if there's a protest and it goes out of hand, Pa does not have the ability, does not have the manpower to be able to stop the carnage. And the Liberian government are going to use that situation to squash all of the things that they're trying to put together. So Pa and Moja were not quite on the same page. I think somebody wrote about that too one time. But anyhow, so Deacon Carter took the bull home and stood on the table in the middle of that little Adrian. So he stood there and was trying to talk. The army car came and pulled over on this side. All the army guys lined up against the fence, the graveyard fence. It didn't take long. One other police truck came with, I think, 5 or 6 of them. They came. The guy, the captain, light skinny guy. I don't know up to this time. I know he's light skinny. He got a Afro General Riley, because I know Riley down behind the executive marshal. I know really well. So his hair was just like that, light skinny guy. So, but I know Dr. Hare, who used to work at the Ministry of Education, his son was also in CID. He's a handicapped guy, crippled guy. So he also went there. They, 2 of them, saying, okay, you guys can do all your protests, but you got to get off the government sidewalk. Anyone that was there that day, this is the reason why people got in the street now. So they want to get off of the government sidewalk and get into that little place. By the time they make that comment, the crowd has sworn to almost 200 to 300 people now. Out of that, he wants everybody in that. The thing could not be anything. The wall, the fence itself, it was like 2 feet, 2.5 feet high, 3 feet high, but maybe 40 feet, not even 40, 25 or 30 feet long by maybe 20 or 25 feet wide. And they want to put everybody in there. They couldn't fit. Guess what? The first group took up. Got on when you go on this side of Rana Street. Oh, Samson, you still remember. Got on Rana Street. Okay. All right. So he was the assistant director. I remember who. Okay. All right. If you do, that's fine. Got on Rana Street. From Rana Street, they went towards Broad Street. They started breaking, how they call it, plum tree limb, and started holding it. The whole thing started. So my little brother saw, he was there, but he was not dressed in uniform. Many of the army people that were there, they were not in uniform. He went home, changed in uniform. When he came, I was on Camp Johnson Road now. Sad thing that day, we were standing along Camp Johnson Road. Camp Johnson, what they used to have Oreo. I think McDonald Street or something, some street. I feel forgetting those things, man. Don't have question me about those street names. But anyway, that street, I come straight down and go through what's his name? Frank Tubber House, and it comes straight towards Camp Johnson Road. And on the other side, you have the Chief Compound, and on the side you have Oreo. Okay. Thanksgiving. I'm giving you some Thanksgiving stories, is it? The Libra is on there again tonight. I'm going to be going back to Prince Johnson show, but I'm giving you some background, some historical background. So anyhow, we're standing there. The army truck came. The guy jumped out of the army truck. His gun went off. One guy, the other guy that I'm talking about, we all were living in one area. He's here, but I'll not call people name because he's not dead yet. So those that the name I'm going to be calling here tonight, people that are there, except for people like Deacon Kala, because he's very famous. So I'm going to have to call his name. But the other guy and myself was standing there with other folks. So when he jumped, the gun went off, hit another guy right by us in the temple. It went like this, went down. So as he went down, fear grabbed me straight. It didn't take less than 1 minute. My brother showed up with his gun. He said, I want you out of this. My little brother now, he said, I want you out of the street. I said, what? He said, if you don't get out of the street, I will shoot you. I want you out of the street right now. took a gun ball like they're pushing me. Go, let's go. Small little boy, my little brother, push, but he got gun. And he became, he got food. I went home and I didn't see much of the action. But as I know he left, so I came back out again. What you could hear is people were telling the army people were telling people how to deal with the tear gas. They say when you go when they shoot the tear gas, take potato leaf and rub it on your face. So they were potato. Man, people. It was something else. People were bringing potato leaf from Busakola. You know Busakola. So we went over there. Raw wild potato green was there growing, and nobody owned it. So people were hauling it and they were passing it around. People got killed, of course. One last story on this, a very sad one. In the area that I was living, there was this one boy, two brothers. One was in the street, grown up other man, but he was worse. He was stealing. So he was not just a grown up man, he was stealing. And his brother, his little brother, was going to LU, steady at night. The house that I was living in, we had, I think, 6 people. I was the only person that was not going to university. Was not at LU. But I acted like I was at LU because those days they used to LU students, they used to carry that plastic bag with a zipper in front. They put it under their arm. Then they are more educated. When you see the people with a bag under their arm, then you know they're educated. You don't fool around. So I used to carry one myself. Like I was not in school. But anyhow, that night, the next day, we heard the father was yelling early in the morning. What had happened the night before? The boy came, the boy that goes to LU, he came that night late, not real late. He didn't break the curfew, but the army people they are calling to the tailor. There was a tailor that was right there that slept in the tailor shop that night. He could hear them. He said they wanted money from this young man. He said, I don't have money. And each soldier was drunk and shot him and killed him. So the next morning, the father was crying, had his son like this in his hand. And when I think about it and think about my own children now, it just brings sadness to me most of the time. When I'm driving long distance, I think those things come to mind. It just brings sadness. But the one who was just grown up like me, okay, well, you'll tell your own. The man who was just grown up like me, nothing happened to him. The one who was trying his best, but that's God. But anyway, that is the end of the Rice Riot story. Now, I'm not going to talk about the coup because I know much more than you can shake a stick. But I'm not going to talk about it. Let's talk about Prince Johnson tonight. So let me go back. Now that I'm giving you all of these things, and before that, we used to PAG used to have their meeting at Coconut Plantation. Those days, Coconut Plantation, what they used to have a meeting, it used to be a soccer field for us. Okay, so Coconut Plantation, when we go there in the morning, the people would talk oh my goodness. When those guys then open their mouth and tell you what the Trump government and what the Tui party have done to you, you want to eat people raw. And with the foot soldier, when they finish telling you, you're so angry. You're so angry. What? First, they start with thing that I know because I grew up in Town, and Town used to be like the Parliament chief, the seat of the Parliament chief of the chiefdom. So anybody who don't pay their taxes, they bring you in Town, and when they bring you in Town, you don't pay that $10. They tie your hand behind your back, put you on those rocks, and they make you look up in the air until somebody pay for you, or they have the one stick, they put it between your shin and tie it. When they tie it, you can hear the man crying. Hey, they will kill you for $10 business. But when you when they start telling you what that $10 was doing to their children, sending them to America, why you in Total don't have any, man, the anger in you. It was unbelievable. But anyway, we did all of those things. We were the first soldier there. We did all of those things. But the 1980 coup, and that's why when if you guys watch, any of you, if you watch the 1980 coup from the beginning until they killed 13 soldier, 13 government official, but from the beginning, the entire country was dancing. were dancing, double mistake. And then there was another music called Who Own Land? Who Own the Land? Who Own the Land? Who Own Papa Land? Oh my goodness, when that music start playing, who own the land? Who are you? You just coming, you met me here. The love of liberty brought you here, but the love of liberty met me here. The war, and just something that just started. The thing been going on for years before the war. Who brought you here? That not me. And during it, no, you know, sometimes you look at these things, and if you can read, you enjoy. There was a trial, Dr. Formula Senior trial. And I'm not going to go into trial because I did a trial so many times. But Dr. Formula Senior trial, at that time, who was the prosecutor? What's his name? The former Chief Justice, G.A.A.P.S. And during the trial, he asked, oh, the guys, they were not East, our brothers and sisters of the Concord descendant, they just had something in it for us. He asked a question. Who sold us to America? That formula trial, you come to bring 18-something trial. Who sold? Go and do research on formula trial. And if you don't hear anything in that trial that quote, what's his name? GAAP asking that question. Who sold us? Who sold us from here to take us to America? Who sold us? And then he said, if we give you, the country people, the opportunity to work in our government, is this how you repaid us? Who sold us? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No sound. No. Yeah. You're right. I pressed the wrong button. But one of the, if whatever you hear, forget it. I mean, not important. But one of the things that was happening with these people, the document that I have, they were documenting most of their activities. It was not hidden. They were documenting pictures, writing. In fact, I have a letter from one of the young men who has some sort of a misgiving after the overthrow, after the killing of Sankara. He wrote, I'm not going to call the person in, even though that person is dead, but he wrote him and said, can you get me out? Because this is not what I signed up for. Why are we participating in the murder of another leader in a country? That was I have that too. But I'm not, they will come down, Samson, to going to release those things. But let's go back. This is Spring Johnson. So let me go and read this thing here, folks. Now that I've given you a little historical background of what I am and what I do. So this article was written by J. Panando and Ella Samran Sr. back in April 2018. Okay. And it says here, better late than never. the execution of Michael J. Doe by General Prince Johnson. That's not that one, but that's also shown in here. And I'm not gonna go through all the other stuff. These are the eyewitnesses report. They were doing some interview and they have the eyewitnesses to talk about these things. So this guy here, this Doe guy, he was his brother called Michael J. Doe that was killed by Prince Johnson. So the way it happened, he said here, and I'll just go in straight into how it happened. He says, okay, I'll just go straight into that, how it happened. He said, okay, the way it happened. He said, Mr. Gus Koenenhaven. There was a Dutch guy. You remember when they did that, their sanction stuff, there was a Dutch guy that they put sanction on. And he also, when the war crime court happened, I believe his name will come up and he most likely going to be caught up as well. Okay. But at that time, he was the manager of the Hotel Africa. Okay. A Dutch national and the manager of Hotel Africa. Mr. Doe's security company in charge of the management of the hotel when he was leaving Liberia. When our Dutch guy was leaving, he left the management side of it to Mr. Michael J. Doe. So at the time, the area where Hotel Africa was located was under the control of General Johnson and his NPFL. That's how General the hotel was. Johnson came in contact with Mr. Doe. Thereafter, General Johnson would pay frequent visit to the hotel requesting the busman. He called Mr. Michael Doe busman. That's how he referred to Mr. Doe, to entertain him and his entourage. And without hesitation, Mr. Doe will oblige. We believe General Doe was no stranger to Mr. To General Johnson was no stranger to Mr. Doe. Not President Doe now. This is a Michael Doe who was there managing the Hotel Africa. Okay. They might have known each other even in Nima County, where Mr. Doe was chief of the Lamco Plant Protection Force, PPF, which also happened to be under General Drew. I told you guys that already. Okay. But from 1966 to 1967, and I think this one I might have. I was not that old, but I was in Nima County around that time too. But very, very, I don't even quite remember. They say I was in Nima. That's what they say. Okay. Then known as Sam Attorney Robber, who is part author of this whole thing. Okay. Training school. He also went to school in Grassfield. Now I remember Grassfield because I went to school, elementary school in Grassfield. So I know Grassfield. Grassfield is not too far from Bapa, Nima County. So it's a walking distance, but a long walking distance. Usually we used to take bus, and sometimes if I'm sleeping, they will leave me behind and go. Okay. So folks, those of you that are joining, you got to give me the opportunity here. Let me go through this thing here. Just sit tight. I will bring you on. I don't want to bring you on while I'm giving this information. So sit tight, please, if you don't mind. All right. So he said he went to school. The institution later became Cara High. For further information, see okay, all his. Based on the additional information we obtained, two reliable eyewitnesses confirmed that it was on August 5th, 1990, when General Johnson came to the hotel and confronted Mr. Doe, who was seated in a chair. He demanded that the busman show him where he had kept 1 million United States dollars that the hotel management left in his care. On that evening, General Johnson and his entourage has been drinking and appear they were intoxicated. According to these eyewitnesses, General Johnson said to Mr. Doe that a lady with inside scoop regarding the operation of the hotel told him, Johnson, about the money. And when busman Mr. Doe failed to provide the alleged money, General Johnson got angry, took his pistol, and shot him at a point blank. He shot Mr. Doe. Okay, not this picture. We'll come to this picture here. Okay, shot Mr. Doe. Okay, point blank. The eyewitness also reported that the body of Mr. Doe was then thrown off the fourth floor balcony overlooking the Atlantic Ocean in close proximity to the hotel. On that same evening, another witness said General Johnson shot and killed a lady he called his daughter. No reason was given. The morning of the next day after the execution of Mr. Doe, General Johnson went to the hotel looking for him, Mr. Doe. He asked some of the employees, "Where is the busman?" They couldn't believe he had forgotten. They said, "You shot him yesterday evening over $1 million per. His initial response was, "How could I do things to such a good man? This busman is the person we usually come to for money and beer." General Johnson's reaction was described as remorseful. Okay, numerous reports of gruesome killing of innocent civilians. There was numerous incidents in which General Johnson committed crimes against humanity, according to the people now. One classic example is the photo that showed this one now, this picture here. The photo that shows, let me see. Okay, the photo that shows him with gun that looked like an M16, with a person lying on his back on the ground with the gun pointing at him, and a man who looks like an aid worker looking on. The name of the man who was later killed by him is Augustus Bachel. Also, there is a story published August 26, 2008, in the Liberian Journal of the executioner of the popular Liberian musician named Tiscanso Robert. The article was written by James Curran Jr. According to Mr. Curran, Mr. Johnson said Vanny, who happened to be his deputy, shot Robert in his presence because, according to him, he was involved in homosexuality. Sam Vanny was the deputy leader of the empire. Okay. Unlike General Johnson, Mr. Joshua Bly, okay, blah, 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 Joshua Bly, aka General Budneke, now an evangelical preacher in Monrovia, has openly confessed and have asked God and those who relatives he killed for forgiveness, whereas General Johnson is making all sorts of excuses and threats. The people want trouble return, warning the Liberian through TRC from prosecuting him. Okay, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go on. Okay, yeah. So, killing of a Pan-African leader. Okay, it is even alleged that he took part in the overthrowing and killing of Pan-African leader of Burkina Faso, President Thomas Sankara. Okay, Captain Thomas Sankara. If Honorable Prince Johnson is the born-again Christian as he claimed, he must confess to the execution of Michael J. Doe and others for God to forgive him. That's the true Christian. Okay, here's another one here. The execution start of the killing of innocent civilians who were not involved in the war was a trademark that defined Prince Johnson and those who fought alongside his independent national patriotic front of Liberia. Mr. Johnson notably, a public gathering was so egregious that it placed him in a special category among Liberian warlords. He was unrestrained with his gun and had the wicked impulse to terrorize everybody who lived in the area NPSS mostly controlled in Monrovia, which at the time was Bushra Island. According to Ben T. Brown Sr., a Liberian who witnessed this writing in a September 11, 2016 edition of the Perspective magazine, shared his experience. In 1990, he said, look, like many Liberians who fear for their safety in the area controlled by the armed forces of Liberia, those security during the war, I was forced to leave from the only home I have been known since birth in Singa to go through Bushra Island with the hope of going to my brother-in-law in Ghanansville. Later did I know that the Ghanansville was considered a different country, Greater Liberia, that was controlled by Charles Taylor National Patriotic Front, and the British Island was another country too that was controlled by Prince Johnson. A breakaway, blah blah blah. You know what I'm talking about. He narrated that his story. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me one. Okay, sorry about that, guys. He narrated his story further. After spending my first night on the water-filled living room floor of Mrs. General Kufa in Lockingtown, I was told that Prince Johnson distributes rights to newcomer at the Douala Cotton Tree sub office on a daily basis. Some of the displaced people who had spent the night at Mrs. Kofa's house, and I decided to check the food distribution out. After we went for another 15, after we waited for another 15 minutes at the distribution site, a convoy of looted jeep carrying boys and girls dressed in jeans and t-shirt on top spirit came rolling down at the crowd, nearly knocking some of the people over. Before the jeep uh, could come to a complete halt, a man dressed in complete American-style military uniform jumped out of the second jeep in the convoy. In his left hand was a guitar. He walked to the crowd and started to sing a popular gospel song. What a friend we have in Jesus. That will be Prince Johnson singing now. The more than 300 hungry displaced people had no choice but to join him into sinking. Before long, a little boy about 8 years old, one little boy now, about 8 years old, found his way right next to Johnson with his swollen feet, stomach, and wide eye that seemed to be begging for food. He stood at the feet of Johnson like a squirrel at the feet of an elephant. In no time, Johnson recognized his presence and shouted him at to leave to leave, but like any other child his age, he was going away and from crowd for a few minutes and walk was by. Johnson, with his left hand still holding his guitar, pulled out a silver pistol with his right hand and shot the boy in the head. Before the boy's militia body could be falling to the ground, some of Johnson's trickle-happy fools, he called them, bodyguard, emptied the magazine of their automatic weapon onto the innocent boy. Many of us ran a little distance from the spot. Some of the women in the crowd covered their faces and screamed. Some who remember their fate made a quick sign of the cross. Bury him and come for rice, Johnson break in at the group, and many standing by. About 20 men dragged the boy, straddled body, and pushed it on a disabled truck nearby. They tried to cover the body with anything, including paper and grass. The letter received 100-pound bag of rice, or they called it gold dust at the time. 100 pounds of gold dust rice. The rest of us started around then 2 hours after Johnson left for Carway headquarters without rice distribution. I told you about this one. So again, let me now go on. Okay. So, folks, if you want to join me now, please do so. I'm done reading. So the reason that I did this is not to say who's guilty or not. It's not about that. But the reason I did this so that we can see why Prince Johnson, according to eyewitnesses, some of his gruesome killing. Okay, but then again, let me go back to my original statement that I made. Prince Johnson, and there are people been writing all day on Facebook how Prince Johnson robbed them of their youth, how Prince Johnson killed their parent, how Prince Johnson did X, Y, and Z. But I'm saying here why it is true, and I'm not disputing any of those. But Prince Johnson's death, for me, like I said, it left a hole in the whole debate. Okay. Yeah, my brother, Prince Johnson was also responsible for my brother Robert To's death. And let me explain a little bit about Robert To's death. Okay. Before the war, as you all know, Robert To is the guy who used to sing Mighty Barrow. All on no champion, Mighty Barrow. The reason why I know that song because myself I'm a Barrow man. My little brother, he's an IE man, so I ain't got no song because IE people can't play football. They don't know anything about football. Mighty Barrow. So, but anyway, Rawato is the one who used to sing Mighty Barrow, and he has other music. Okay, but before the war, he knew Prince Johnson very well. Before the war, okay, they knew each other. He knows Kuomba, everybody, all of them, because they all were in the army, in the barracks. So they knew each other very well. My other brother over there in Falco right now, they knew each other very well. Okay. So during the war, he was having problems finding food in the barracks. And he felt, well, my friend Prince Johnson is in charge over there. I'm gonna go down there and find food. And my other brother in Falco's right now was telling you can't do that. You're a crime man. Even if Prince Johnson knows you, who knows? He might not even see you before you look because you're crime and they'll kill you. Everybody know who you are. Oh, they can't do that to me. They know what. And he tried to use the death of his brother, Honor President Doe, to use that to say, what they know where we stand. We're not against anybody. We're not fighting. So they know I'm not a gun person. I'm a guitar person. And Prince Johnson himself played guitar. So they will not do it. So he went across the bridge. And then they grabbed him. But before they grabbed him, according to the story, that Prince Johnson invited him to play. And he told Prince Johnson, okay, they play a little bit, but then he said, you've got to take some food back. So Prince Johnson, apparently maybe the same way he killed that guy, that Michael Dove man, being drunk, maybe the same thing. So the story was he told him, we can't get you food because you're crumbing. So right away they said, you'll take him. They took him and killed him. Robert Todd. That's how he got killed. Okay. But anyhow, the point that I'm making here tonight, and I hope Walter Carter, I hope okay, he's on. Let me bring him on here. Carter, thank you for joining me. Let me wrap this up and I will put Prince Johnson pictures out and then we can start discussing in general. The reason that I'm saying this here is a government, any government that do not respect the rights of a citizen, they will challenge the democracy process. They will challenge your system. If you do well, people love you, they will elect you. In Africa, even though you're supposed to run in Liberia, for example, you only have 2 terms. But if the people of the Republic of Liberia say we don't want 2-term business. Excuse me, guys. I'll call him back. He's easy. They don't want. They can come out and say, you know what? We don't want 2 terms. You stay there because you're doing good for them. So let me take this down and bring in Walter Carter. Can you hear me? Walter Carter, you got to unmute yourself.
Yes, I can hear you, Mr. Tool.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you for joining us. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. I'm doing this Prince Johnson stuff here because I think for me, why Prince Johnson might have committed some serious crime against humanity, but my overall argument has been and continue to be that Prince Johnson and the rest, even on the Crown People side, they didn't just get and start killing people. There's something that happened that get them to move to that area. And
Yeah.
and like I said, I've been with the Nibadians for a very long time. So I know most of these things. The like of DK Wansley, who was killed in Nima County. No, I mean, if I tell you the story, you won't even believe it. So for me, it's something that is just. So when you do these kinds of killing, believing that the government will reward you or people in charge will reward you. What happened when Kuwamba came? When Kuwamba took office, he was not going around killing people. But when the thing turned over, the revenge, the retribution was huge on the Mana and Gil people, on Nima people. And you expect the Nimbadian, who are just a human being like any other person, so you expect them to sit down and do nothing while their people was being killed. So I'm saying, even though the end result was in no way, and our brothers and sisters of the conquered descent took advantage of that because there was dislodged. They didn't know what hit them. So they decided, you know what? The issue with the Kumba situation, and I think when they play here, and I got the paper to show that as well, when they play here and decide to ship Kumba, you know, one thing I like about Dr. Famula, H.B. Famula Jr., he doesn't like to talk much, but when somebody pays him up, he will write and explain everything. It was through his writing we get to know how Kuwamba went through Sierra Leone, how Kuwamba went through Sierra Leone when he was not quite prepared. And the old man, he said, which is Shaka Stephen, with people, they were not quite ready to deal with him coming through Sierra Leone. And then he said the failure of that Kuwamba coup started in Sierra Leone because the Sierra Leone government were not quite prepared to handle that. So the issue is when they started here, they didn't, why he formula was telling them we're not ready. You don't send anybody now, we're not ready. They didn't listen to him, he said. Anyhow, after Kuwamba coup happened, and the people, though came back to power, they decided they were going to go all fours in the interest of pleasing the leader. And I bet you some of the killing that happened to our brothers and sisters in Nibalian, they were not sanctioned by Doe. Many of these things that was happening in Nibalian people, they were not sanctioned by Doe. But he didn't come out to condemn it either. So these are kinds of stuff. Any government, I believe, if you are in charge, if the people put you in government, and these kinds of things start happening, they started, the citizens of that particular community start being targeted. They will fight back because there's nothing that they can't. Where else you want them to? They can't go to Guinea. They can't go to. You can't take the entire Nima country and say, "Well, you're cross. You'll go from Liberia. You're no longer Liberian citizen." They will have people who will fight back. Who will fight back. And that's exactly what we have. And our brothers and sisters from the American descent decided to use that opportunity to gain back power. And in fact, their interest was not, and I've been in the meeting, their interest was not to gain back power. They get power now. We don't have it, you can't have it. That was most of the saying. We can't have it, you're not going to have it. And there were people from the indigenous side, the likes of Tom Wowoyu and others were supporting that. So they decided to go through Nima County because why? Taylor has issue with Doe when he ran here, and Doe wanted extradition from Taylor. I was in Rhode Island. I was just next door to Massachusetts where he was in jail. And I was involved in the Rhode Island Liberian Community Organization. So there was a lot of information that we were coming to us. I've been in the politics, in the Liberian debacle politics, whatever you want, for a very long time when I was young. So tell us in America, who will break jail in America and go start something somewhere? Don't listen to the people. We know the story. Okay. But the issue here is there were people already on ground that were willing. And here's another issue. Gaddafi got involved because in the early days of the coup, Gaddafi was getting into Liberia. Remember the Libya bureau he built over there? He was getting into Liberia. The American government was not, like I said, I'm not going to say how, but the American government was not too happy. And they decided to seize Gaddafi property. So Gaddafi was already pissed. Ofwe son-in-law was killed, A.B. Tuber. So Ofwe was willing. His daughter was crying every night in his ear. He was willing for them to do anything. So going to Libya to go train, it was easy for them. Like I said, I have some documents that speak to the thing. But the thing about it is, I think Prince Johnson's death, why he killed a lot of people, I think it would have been because at one time before he went to Ghana, before he went to Nigeria, there was a rumor that was going around. It even got to us here that he was crazy. Okay, so him being a senator, for me, the Nibadians, they chose this guy fought for us. And in the last election, where somebody challenging, and it was a nasty, nasty conversation about Prince Johnson. And the guy that was challenging Prince Johnson, he made a statement that Prince Johnson, in fact, was not a real hero. Because he said during the heat of the war, Prince Johnson fled. So why anybody want to consider him hero? If anything, he should be the main hero. But of course, anybody was not listening to him either. So, Carter, thank you for joining me this evening. I'm just bringing these things out on this wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving Day. As I was making my turkey this morning around about 3 a.m., I was very thankful to God to be able to make the turkey. I woke up my daughter who's on vacation from the university, and she said, "No, I'm tired." So I woke up my son who was still at home. He has to obey, because if not, you live in my house. If you don't, the other one, she can say, "You know what? I'm not living here. I'm going back." She can leave. But then when he ain't got no place to go, so I got to wake him up so he helped me to do the turkey and stuff like that. But so I was just thanking God for the opportunity to have with my children and stuff like that. And this whole thing, when Nathaniel Cry, who was the station manager, told me about the incident that Prince Johnson had passed, and I started reading more about it, and these things just came to mind. But anyway, what would be your own contribution this evening on that, if you have?
Well, first of all, I would like to say, let the senator soul rest in peace. I would say my deepest condolence to his family and to the Liberian National Legislature also. It's a sensitive thing for most people who encounter Prince Johnson, the late Prince Johnson. I encountered him vividly from Bon Mines. I met Prince Johnson in Bon Mines. I had an encounter with Prince Johnson action again in Monrovia and all that. So there was not decent, or there was not even good situation when I met Prince Johnson. The couple of times I met him, it was not a good thing. My father has sent me to school in Bon Mines to his brother. I attended the Bontown school, the German school that was in Bon Mines, almost for a year, just before the Civil War broke out. And the first guy that took me on his wing, the late Duo Clinton, he was my cousin fiance, my cousin boyfriend, you could call it. When the war broke up, Charles Taylor had captured Bon Mines. Then later on, Prince Johnson came and pushed Taylor out of Bon Mines. And so while they were there, he stayed in Bon Mines for 3 days. But before he could reach in the city, in the Bon Mines city itself, Duo had gone behind the mine to look for food because food was a little bit scarce. And they fell in Prince Johnson ambush. And there were only two that survived the ambush. One of them ran away. I don't know if he's still alive, but I saw him. He came with a lot of the sawgrass ripping apart, and we had to keep him indoor, put chalk on him because it was so burning. So he stayed indoor until Prince Johnson left bomb mines. But Duo, according to him, he and Duo was running, and Duo went and hid himself in the bush, but he jumped in the river and he got caught up with soft grass. But Prince Johnson, it was to talk Duo out of coming out of hiding. And he was skinned alive and beheaded and put his head on a stake. And there was the first person that embraced me and told me to be a friend when I entered bomb mines. So these are some of the encounters, it was bad memory. I think I spoke about it on the show before. I even spoke about it on Spoon. It was Spoon or Frida FM when they were talking about Prince Johnson. I'm like, I think this time we should forget about it. I mean, he died. Yeah, let his soul rest in peace. One of the important things I'm thinking about Prince Johnson when I look at the whole TRC now, are they going to go forward with the TRC? Because the TRC seemed to be was around Prince Johnson neck. So Prince Johnson is no more. Is this government going to continue with the TRC to bring other perpetrators to justice? This is where we have to be looking at. But even though he's dead, everybody will die. Are we happy? No. He's a human being. And, he may he according to him, he repented. He became a man of God. And who am I to question him? But people looking back at his life, especially during the Civil War, where we came from, all right, there's nothing good you can say about the old man. So we don't want to dwell. I don't want to dwell on the past too much. I just want to move forward with the life. I'm looking at where we are as a people. You brought up about the historicity of our dark days when Doe came to power. And it gives me a clear picture of what we see happening now. Some of the reason why, because you said these people didn't just jump up one day, swallowing GB and just are killing people. Something led them to do something. Even the Doe, he just didn't jump out and say, okay, crown people, kill people, or whoever killed like Brent. No, something led him to do something trigger him. And this is what we are seeing today in our society. Somebody gave you opportunities, did things for you, and you undermine that person. Are we not seeing it today in our society? If it was doing, let's look at what happened in the legislature, especially when it comes to the different people that are deflecting from this party to the other party and undermining the leadership of their own organization and all that. It was the same thing that happened when Doe took over. Doe took over. People who felt that they were educated more than him, people who felt that they had good quality when it comes to education, all the standard they had, they start looking at him strange, like, who this country, this man, he can't even speak English good, and they start to undermine him. And so, being a military man, you're like, okay, this is what, he started going after people who were trying to bring him down. And then the whole thing turned over, and then the American Liberian used it as an opportunity to turn our brother against one another, and the whole thing burst into flame. This is exactly what is unfolding in our society. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. For me, lesson learned. Are the Liberian people learning the lesson? No. Who are those people that are doing the very things that brought about our civil war? That brought about, because when anything happened, it was not Congo people killing country people, or country people killing Congo people, or Congo people killing country. No! It was indigenous killing indigenous. And the Congo people sat back and folded their hands and laughed and drank their beer wherever they were. Ivory Coast, America, Europe. They sat back and looked at us slaughtering each other. It's the same thing now unfolding today in our society. The same thing unfolding today in our society. When we have our indigenous brothers who are in leadership, the things other people die for, they fought for. We have them in leadership today. and they are fighting and undermining each other. Not even dividing the pie that's supposed to be divided for all Liberians. They are pocketing everything for themselves. Why did we kill the 13 people on the pole? Was it necessary looking right now in our time? Was it necessary when we call it rampant corruption? It's unfortunate, Mr. Tor. I look at our whole war to be complete nonsense. I look at the lives of the people that died. They died aimlessly. The sacrifice was useless. It was baseless. Because what we are seeing today, those people rolling in their graves or the makeshift graves where they are, their bodies are, the spirit are, looking at, is this what I died for? Is this what I joined the AFL and died? Or the NPFL, or the IMPFL, or the Ulimbo K, or the Ulimbo J, or the LERD, whatever they join, is this what we die for? To see our own brothers and sisters treat their own people. In our whole house, you can't name one Congo person or American Liberian in our house. They are all indigenous people, indigenous to the bone, but they are strangulating the Liberian people because of their own selfish gain. Why did they kill those people on the pool? Why did we have to bring war in our society? Mr. Tor, you have vast knowledge of our history when it comes to the violence. I was a little boy, but I was in those things too. I saw it because the people who organized it, they were close to us. You remember Galley Street between Water and Swore? That sucker you take from Galley Street to go to Ronald Street, Express Dry Cleaner right there. Mr. Anderson house. In fact, not house, it was a zinc shower he had. He used to keep fire coal. It was carpenter shop, I think, the fire coal storage. They were pa used to have the meeting.
But that the house I was talking about.
They were pa used to have the meeting, that zinc shop. People who live, I know family that we grew up with, my big sister then. So when they lived in Boston, Massachusetts, they all were in that meeting. The very day they had that protest, we all went down to that place, running around, kids playing. People were having a meeting. The demonstration, when it turned into blood, people got shot. My baby store on Randall Street, the Oreo store that was down Randall Street, all the places got. My first time seeing him being dead person. The man want to steal, want to loot my baby store, and at that time they were not stealing like beer like that because all the people store had glass in front of it. One of the glasses broke, and he went in there and it opened him up, his stomach, his whole belly came up. He was lying around on the sidewalk on Randall Street. We have seen all these things. Our people die, our people suffer. We say we need to liberate our people because they marginalized us. They kept us in abject poverty. They marginalized us from getting education. The very people today that in our House of Representatives and our Senate, everybody today, they are indigenous people. Yet and still, our people are still living in abject poverty. They can't even fix the educational system. They can't fix it. Mr. Tor, what are we heading to? Prince Johnson is gone. We talk about him here because he's a senator and all the kind of the war. Yeah, we talk. He's gone. What have we to learn? What is necessary that we can take from what happened in our society? With all the people he killed, he won me, he died. He lied on peacefully and he gone. Are we going to sit now and say, enough is enough? Let us come together as indigenous, Congo, whatever you can think about, to build our nation. This is what we should be talking about. This is what we should be talking about. Everybody was able to do evil to everybody. This thing happened between the Crown, Mandingo, Gio, Mano. It spilled over everybody. Gio people moving the bunker, they killing Pele people. Pele people join the war, killing things. Basso people killing themselves. Gribble people, everybody joined in and start killing each other for no reason. I saw you when I attended Nipo Junior High from 7th grade to 9th grade. One of my teachers, a Ghanaian man who used to teach me math, he was killed because a student in his class could not pass his math. That boy joined the revolution, Right after the went on, the man used to live on Macklin Street. He saw the man and said, "Oh, now you fail me in math." Killed the man because he could not pass in math. This man, it had nothing to do with the war. The man was no part of our civil war, but he got killed. All right. So what can we take from what happened in our nation? Taylor is in jail. Prince Johnson gone. Madam Ellen Johnson is an old lady. She served our country and didn't do much to bring any change as far as development concerned. But they were agitating in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. Today, our country is still backward. What we can do as a people, that's what I keep saying on this show.
Carter, my own thing is, and I thank you for all that that you're saying, which are all true anyway. But I truly believe you can do whatever development you want to do in our country, as long as these people are not engaging each other. It'll be easy to do something else again. Because people, the young people that was born even during the war, and those that were born after the war, they really don't have no connection to those things. They're only connected by hearsay. And hearsay of people saying this, they unless many of our brothers and sisters, they don't read much. They don't like to read. You can write an essay right now and put it on Facebook. As long as more than 2 paragraphs, forget it. You just read the first paragraph and just move on. So the thing is, unless we can engage these people, those that were involved and are still alive, if we can bring those people to tell you story of what happened. Because if you don't know what happened, you're bound to repeat it.
Definitely.
You're bound to repeat it. Like I said, all of the people that were involved in the war, nobody defending what they did. But they did not just get on one money and say, I'm going there. I'm going to start something. Specifically, our brothers of Nima, because I know this story. I got documents. Some of the things that was happening. Okay? There was an incident one time, and I will say this now because the person that was involved is dead now. I'm not going to call their name, but they're dead. There was an issue one time with John G. Ramsey. John G. Ramsey is a crime. But there was a letter that was going around here back in the late 80s or so about John G. Ramsey writing for Doe, telling Doe how to have America on their side by encouraging the Israeli, who are American stronger allies in the Middle East, by telling the Israelis, we will curtail all of the Lebanese in Liberia, make sure they don't send, because the Lebanese in Liberia were sending money back home. So the letter was to say we will try to monitor the kinds of money that leave Liberia to go to Lebanon. And the Lebanese at the time were also, it was right after the Lebanese, the U.S. barrack being blown up in Lebanon, 1982. And so when the letter hit, people were like, wow. But guess what? John G. Ramsey didn't even write, that letter was not even written in Liberia. The letter was written right here in America. The letter was written right here in America. But it made it look like it was written from the Liberian from the executive marshal. And those are the kinds of stuff when Liberians started getting hold of those things. Though popularity started waning, it started going downhill. And like I said, you like the men like Tom Woyu and those people. And there was those that were supporting the complete overthrow of Doe. Like I said, we went to a EULA meeting in Philadelphia back in 1985, and there was people from Atlanta and from our brothers and sisters from the Nima section. One way or the other, Doe got to come down. And we used to say, 2 elephants you fight, if somebody's going to get hurt. You think, I said that in a meeting. I said, Doe got people, you got supporter. And Doe, he's being in power now. You're not going to dislodge him easily. Why don't you have a conversation? and have these conversations so that our brothers and sisters will not get hurt. Because I told them in the meeting, I said, when you guys ready, you say you want Doe. Doe is a crime man. When you're ready, you're not going to tell people in total, even though Doe have done some terrible thing to us, but you're not going to tell the people in total, your excuse, we're not coming for you. You're not going to do that. The entire Crown Nation, you will go against them. I said that back in 1985. I wish there was a video for that. But it's not like I'm proud of that, but those are things that we know was coming. When Kuomba, I have another experience. Liberia situation is bad. At night, when we heard that Kuomba have entered Monrovia, it was announced, and then people started. Those days, you don't have no cell phone. Those days, the only thing you do is landline. So people were calling 2, 3 o'clock at night. And my relationship with Doe is not good anyway. So at that time, and I'm still not, it's not good still. But I was like, well, good, they got him out now. And when we went to meeting, that day, so I wanted to say something. They said, no, you're crumpy, we don't trust you. What? You people and myself, we just got from Philadelphia. You took me to Philadelphia because you thought that I was somebody who's going to say something that now a crime man. I knew then that if there's any issue in Liberia, they were not going to put us aside. And it was not just me. Forget about me. If you listen to folks who participated in the war, or if you listen to folks that went through the war, people like Biron were pointing out each other.
Definitely.
To say this, but even if you're not the tribe that they were looking for, but because there's something happening somewhere, the Merco, he didn't get you cross, or the Merco and me you something somewhere, that's how bad we were. They were pointing out people that crime mayo, or that Gilman, or that Nima, that Mana mayo. And it got so bad that those people that were being pointed out, they are ready to say, oh, so the people, they're not just coming from the crown people, and so they're coming for everybody. Everyone got involved. There is no village in Liberia that is spared of this war.
Oh,
because of our involvement. Each of us.
But Mr. Todd, let me just inject a little bit. So I like to look at. I know you into the historical part of it, but let's look at what is happening even now. You
want that coming cop. We come to our company now.
No, we're looking at.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. Go ahead, make your point.
I'm trying to look at it from a perspective of we changing the trajectory or the status quo, because it didn't help us, and we see it today. Take for example, Senator Prince Johnson wanted a couple of ministries in this administration. They gave him what the era? Labor ministry?
Yeah, labor.
What kind of news you having from labor ministry? Only Nimbadian they employ in labor ministry. The minister they're bringing on Nimbadian. If you do stuff like that, what message are you sending to the general population? Is Nima County the only county in Liberia, and Nimbadian the only people in Liberia that are supposed to work at labor ministry? You see? So when you start to bring this thing and I'm not faulting the senator when he was putting his county in the first for development, all that stuff, but you cannot go to a particular ministry where a ministry should employ all Liberians, and you only put Nima County people there. If anything should happen,
go ahead, make your point. Let me put a number out as well. Make your point, my brother.
If anything should happen, what do you think people will say about labor ministry? Oh, you're working in labor ministry, you're a Guillaume, you're a Mano man. And that's the kind of mentality. We have to erase that. Our nationalism should be beyond tribal line. We are Liberian first. If we must,
but Walter Carter, the point you're making is quite correct. But those sentiments and those ideas need to come from the highest up. You can't have a president or the leader or the senator or somebody Only in their office, the staff they have are only people from his area. Number one. And you have a country that is already divided underneath. Don't fool yourself underneath. Take for example, Granjide. Since the involvement of President Weah into this political scene to be president, Granjide had never given a vote to any other president except President Weah. Why is that? Are the politicians themselves trying to find out why Granjidians are doing that? Why don't you have a conversation with them? Why don't you go to Granjide County and have a conversation? Why is these things, what are we doing that we're not getting your vote? Nobody's talking to Granjidians. We all just say, so Cranfield Department, you're wasting your vote. But why are they doing that? Why are Granjidians giving their vote to a specific candidate since 2005? Why is that? We're not looking at that. Nima County, the vote-rich county, why were they always sticking with Prince Johnson? Whatever area Prince Johnson go, they throw their vote around that. You want to tell me Nimbadians are not independent? That's not true. Nimbadians are some of the most independent people in Liberia. But why? Our politicians, they don't do those kinds of conversation. They don't have that kind of conversation. They just go because they want vote. And here's the thing, Walter Carter says, Thanksgiving Day, we're not going to be here for another 5 minutes or so. One of the things I believe, those who are seeking these offices, senator, representative, presidency, and all the kinds of stuff, the way they go about this election, the next time we find ourselves in a mess, it's going to be deadlier than what we had before. Because Liberians are now sophisticated. They know how to get around a lot of stuff. In this age of social media, you can stay right here and there's supposed some bad thing in our country. So we hope we don't come to that. But the way our people go about gaining vote from this county, trucking people, and then when they elect you, the people who live in your county do not have a voice because you truck people who have no interest in that county. And because of that, you were elected. And you turn your back on the people who you believe didn't vote for you. And the people who you are trucked in those counties, their interest is not in the county. Sooner or later, Liberians going to turn against that. And when they see people trucking, you will see violence coming. Because they see that when you truck these people after the election, you don't pay attention to them. And when they talk to you, you're already elected. And our politicians themselves, they're not even looking at the historical fact, underlying fact, the historical underlying facts about our country. They just take advantage of the fact, Liberian people tired with war business, man. They're not going to fight again. And you just continue to abuse. You just continue to do one thing over and over. You got the like of Yaka Kaluba, who has no other choice but to be ridiculous. Because that's the only choice he had. Insulting. What makes you think Yaka Kaluba is not intelligent? Why would Yaka Kaluba, if you gave him the opportunity to express himself, what his people feeling, through him, the people's voice to be expressed? You think if you gave him the opportunity to do that, will Yaka Kaluba be insulting? No. But you shut him off. Because you don't think he has something good to say because it's not in your interest. Look at this Flanty Kofa stuff here. It's not over yet. Because those people that were being removed, those people that were put in the committee, you think people like Marvin Cole will leave the committee without being removed legally? He's not going to do it. When the Supreme Court rule and say what the majority of black is doing is that's another problem. Those people will not leave. You will not have section. They will disturb you. And if you try to bring the law enforcement in, they will challenge the law enforcement. And if one or two people die, you got problem. This is where we're going. And these are things we're saying. We cannot afford these things. To have a bluff of a democracy is just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
I told yesterday we were discussing with somebody. I said our peace, the Liberian people peace is like cow manure. The cow poo. When you sit down and get dry.
It just dry on top.
On top, it's in an iron rock.
Yeah.
Step inside is a whole mess. That the peace we have. And if we are not careful, it will turn into a mess.
And that's why, I don't mean to cut you up, but the incident from Guinea, and that was one of the reasons why the Guinean was so afraid. They were so afraid that if that young man comes to Liberia to recruit, it'll be easier for you to get a lot of people. It'll be easier to get a lot of young Liberians. Because their mind is still not quite done.
No. And the sad thing about it, our population, I don't know, because people say, oh, we don't have a gullible society, and I disagree with that. We have a gullible society because if we're people who are sound, we will not make the kind of decision we make. And even the educated people, they still make mistake in choosing who they want to be their leader. And you understand? So sometimes I wonder whether the people that are uneducated and the people that are educated, what other than can fall under the same umbrella. Because Mr. Tour,
let me take Jerry back, huh? Jerry, good evening. Are you calling to talk on the show, or you want me?
No. You're calling to say happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, okay, all right. Thank you very much. Okay, all right.
Yeah. So you see, it's so unfortunate that even with our educated people, we are not making sound decisions. Some of the things that we do, I sit down on Spoon and listening to a person who say he went to law school, who learned law, but try to circumvent the Constitution, try to interpret the law in ways that it is not. Even a layman can tell you, say, this is how it's supposed to be. And I'm listening to this guy. He's confidently telling himself what he's saying is true. And I'm saying, how come? Is it something they put in their brain that they cannot comprehend? What the Bible said? And, he said he will make us to do the unwise things. All our things we're doing, the wise is foolish. That's what happening in our system of governance today. You see educated people or so-called educated people we think that would do the right thing, doing the wrong thing. This whole legislative saga that's going on, it opened my eyes to a lot of things that in Liberia when it comes to education. People go to school, but they don't learn. People go to school, I got PhD, I got master's degree, they don't learn nothing. Absolutely nothing. Cannot apply yourself. And I'm being honest. How is it that you will see Article 40, whatever, 49, 48, that said the speaker, once every 6 years, the House will elect a speaker. The speaker shall be the presiding officer. But you said no. The presiding officer can be anybody. What in that law that you don't understand? You don't have to go to law school to understand it. And you come and you want to convince people that there can be another speaker in the presence of the elected speaker. How is that possible? You understand? And these are things that people run with and they confuse our people to the extent where when everything hit the fence, the people become vulnerable. But like you said, Mr. Toll, we have evolved and now we are getting there. If anything should happen in Liberia, these people got more to lose than even the men who living in the mud house or the zinc house, because they have accumulated so much. They have built for themselves empires, big houses, buy big cars and all that. What's going to happen? These people going to just put fire to them, destroy them, or If you can't, America say you're not coming, no plane leaving the country, where you going to go? Ivory Coast? You're going to go to Sierra Leone got their own thing. You're going to go to Guinea got their own. Where you going to go? How long are you going to be there? Who's going to send money for you? All these things. We tired running, the people trying to put their lives together, but the bunch of leaders that we have all around the place, they are mismanaging. They are taking advantage of Liberian people. Can you imagine? I think I saw on the show yesterday. There was a guy who went on a Mo Ali video when he was swimming in the pool with Patrick Hunters and other people. And the guy said, hey, man, Mo, we all fought for this revolution, for this government to come to office. For me, I ain't get no job. I ain't bother. But what do you think the people who all were in the pool thinking about you? Mo Ali replied to that man on social media. Do I give a damn about if you okay or not, if you suffering or not? Can you imagine if Mo Ali that was sitting on platform talking about another person eating lobster and not even care about Liberian people? He'll tell another United Party supporter those kind of stuff. What will you do that? I work for the state of Connecticut. And you know, as a government worker, you on a spotlight. Anything you do, the public will come down on you hard. Just imagine we're driving a state car, people looking at us. You stop to McDonald's, Burger King, on state time. When you come back to your station, you won't even know who called and said, oh, car XYZ or also so your supervisor called you to ask you what you were doing there on state time. This is how they scrutinize us. This is how they're so strict on us about using, and you on state time and doing things because the people feel they are taxpayer. That means we are being paid from taxpayer money. These people in that world don't care. Don't care. You just came to offer you driving almost $100,000 car. $100,000 car. And the roads that you driving the car will not even pay for the common man to have access to. Can you imagine that? A short road from Gabriel Tucker Bridge to St. Paul Bridge. The road already there open. Just to rehabilitate that road. Nothing. But you will buy $100,000 car to drive in the kind of deep potholes. What kind of sense is that? How we looking at our country? Mr. To, that's what I said. We should talk about our country, not about President Bwaka or President Weah or President this or President that. These people will come and go. Now, 5 more years from now, Bwaka will be history. We'll still be sitting at a gospel of life. We'll be talking about another president who ain't doing jack in the country. What should we do that? Because we put our vote behind or our love behind the individual, not the country. Are you satisfied with the road from Nima County to Grand Gila? No. Do you want this government to fix it? Yes. Should you raise your voice on this government to fix that road and criticize this government so they can get on their butt to fix the road? Yes. But if you say, oh, the president is the president, he's the father of the nation, you won't see no wrong he's doing, the president feel complacent. Oh, Mr. To agree with me. I can sit here and enjoy myself. Once I can drive my car from point A to point B and come out, I got all my security. I don't care about Mr. To time. The next government can you cry about the same road from Nima County to Grand Gila, they ain't paid. From Lofa County, from Bon County to Lofa County, they probably ain't paid. Because why? When we were sitting down, we didn't look at the critical issues that these people are supposed to do for us. We were looking at the president, the ministers, the this. No! Those people work for us. We are the bosses. If our lives are not comfortable, how can their life be comfortable? We put them there. Mr. To, we put them there. We elected Mr. Bwaka and all the other code of officers here in the vice president. He employed those people at his will and pleasure, so they work for us. They must deliver. I don't care. I won't see water in the street of Morocco. Should I praise Mo Ali for that? He's getting paid. I'm not praising him. Should I praise the electricity man to put current in the country? No, he's getting paid. He's not doing it free. Should I praise the public works minister to rehabilitate road? No. I ain't praising the president because he took upon himself to say he can do this job. We put him there to do the job. I will not praise him. Then he do the job. If we speak to these people, not praising them, but making them to do the thing they're supposed to do, I think our country will change. I think our country will change.
Thank you, Walter Carter. Thank you very much. And also, that will be the end of the show tonight. But thank you for joining us. Please, let's meet tomorrow, Mr. Social. and have a wonderful conversation as well. I want to thank you very much. Say happy Thanksgiving Day to you and to your family. As I've seen your kids, and I'm wondering to myself, the man that kid, he said, "How you get children already like that?" You know.
You saw my
But
kid's picture? Where?
yeah, on your Facebook, on your page.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Now the Thanksgiving picture, the recent picture?
No, it was been a while now.
I was seeing the recent picture so you can see.
Yeah, but they seem that they're very cute. They're very cute. They seem to be well mannered too, just by their pictures, you know.
Yeah, they are. Thank God for them.
But I was just wondering, with your face looking at some 19-year-old, how you got those children there?
Well, that's how it is. If I take
you borrow the children.
If I teach out around when Power, when you are doing your thing up on Gallen Street, they even know. you heard me. I told you. I said,
yeah.
You were there.
I wonder at that house that behind, you know the water and sewer. It used to have a different name, but maybe you're too small to know it. But it has a different name. The name is dirty. You don't say it in public. But it has a different name. But behind that, that's where the power building was.
The power building was okay. So you see that whole area that Anderson, and where Carl Jebo used to live. You remember Carl Jebo that used to play for IE?
Yeah.
Carl Jebo used to live right back there. So you go and they seem what he need Aaron Poplar. Aaron Poplar used to live in a greenhouse right across from the cemetery.
Who?
Poplar. Aaron.
They are all Aaron, yeah?
Aaron used to live right there. I knew all the people because I played ball with them, but he will not remember me. Even the twin, the Dingo twin beginning I used to be right. Aaron will know the guys I talking about a lot. They'll beginning to play football all around the Espolo. All of them used to live right there.
Right.
Where Pa had a place. So right after Kajabo House, right there, that is Zingsha. You can stand to the Zingsha and see the Sony, and you see the back of or the side of the back of water and sewer.
The back of the water and sewer.
So across the road in the cemetery, that's where they built, they buried top of like grave in there.
Yes.
Yeah. So we used to be all over there, doing the late 70s and in the 80s because that's where we used to be hanging up, playing ball, taking the shotgun to go to Abidjali Sport Market because I grew up.
And then you make a left. You go into coconut plantation.
So I used to play all around the coconut plantation, Dana E. Howard School.
Yeah.
All over there, the labor ministry were up there. Yeah, we were down there. We
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Well, Chikota, thank you very much. We'll say good night to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Toll. I'm gonna send you a picture of them, okay?
All right, thank you. Again, folks, Samson too. I'm going to bring this show to an end here now. We'll say thank you very much. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. And happy Thanksgiving to all of you that have been watching. We say thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Most of our analysts are not able to make it tonight because they're having family Thanksgiving, which we really appreciate. Let's continue to pray for one another and continue to do what is good for our country. Again, Samson told Labrapa Radio, I had a wonderful, wonderful time. Walter Carter, thank you for coming in tonight to help us out. We appreciate it. Flomo, thank you. Ken, thank you. Clarence David, thank you very much. Guys, thank you. Stevie, thank you as well. That's last. Thank you. Josh, as usual, thank you very much for staying with us throughout. We appreciate it, guys. We appreciate you. Again, Samson told Labrapa Radio, I want to say thank you very much and good night.
mon amant. Hey, mon amant. Hey, mon amant.
Ateito, ateito, ateito. Nalukio na kati ya Kinshasa mobimba mama e. Nabali na foire Africaine.